He risked everything to save her, but what she gave him was unbelievable. The neon lights of New Shanghai's medical district cast an eerie glow through the rain-streaked windows of Dr. Marcus Wright's clinic. The last patient had left hours ago, but Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The motion sensors kept triggering, yet the security feeds showed nothing but empty corridors and shadows dancing in the rain. He was about to shut down his systems when a crash echoed from the back alley. Marcus hesitated, protocol dictated calling security for any disturbance after hours. But something in the sound, a note of desperation perhaps, made him grab his medical bag instead. The alley was dark, the rain turning everything into a blur of reflections and shadows. A figure huddled against his clinic's wall, trembling, not from the cold, Marcus realized, but from pain. As he approached, the figure tried to retreat further into the shadows. "I'm a doctor," Marcus said softly, holding up his hands. "I can help." The figure shifted, and for a moment Marcus caught a glimpse of eyes that reflected light like mirrors. Not human eyes. His breath caught, but his training kicked in. 20 years of emergency medicine hadn't prepared him for an alien patient, but pain was pain, fear was fear, regardless of species. "I won't report you," he added, taking another careful step forward. "Doctor-patient confidentiality, even for unexpected visitors." The alien female, he thought, though he couldn't be sure, finally looked up. Her skin had a faint luminescence, barely visible under the grime and what looked like blood. "They're coming," she whispered, her voice carrying an odd harmonic that made the hair on his neck stand up. "The hunters." Marcus glanced at the mouth of the alley. Empty for now, but he'd heard rumors. Whispers about government agencies that dealt with unauthorized extraterrestrial visitors in ways that never made it to official reports. "Can you walk?" he asked, already reaching for her arm. "My clinic has a secure back room. We need to move fast." She nodded, letting him help her up. As they moved toward the clinic's back door, Marcus heard the distinctive whine of hover vehicles approaching. The alien tensed beside him, her luminescence flickering like a faulty light. They barely made it inside before the searchlights swept the alley. Marcus guided her through the dark clinic to his private office, a room he'd modified years ago after treating too many victims of gang violence who couldn't risk official channels. "My name is Naira," she said as he helped her onto the examination table. "You should not have helped me. They will come for you now." Marcus activated his medical scanner, trying to make sense of readings that definitely weren't designed for alien physiology. "Let me worry about that. Right now, you're bleeding from at least 3 wounds and your core temperature is... Well, I'm not sure what it should be, but these readings can't be good." Naira caught his wrist, her touch sending a strange, tingling sensation up his arm. "You don't understand. I carry something they want, something that could change everything. They will kill to get it." Marcus met her gaze steadily. "I took an oath to help those in need. Human or not, that includes you. Now let me do my job and we'll figure out the rest later." As he worked to treat her injuries, using every bit of medical intuition to adapt human treatments to alien biology, Marcus could hear vehicles circling the building. Naira's grip on his arm tightened. "They're scanning," she whispered. "The wounds, they were a trap. They let me think I escaped so they could find anyone who would help me, anyone with the right qualities." "Right qualities for what?" Marcus asked, but before she could answer, the clinic's security system chimed a warning. Multiple armed individuals approaching from all directions. Naira sat up, her wounds already healing faster than anything Marcus had ever seen. "I'm sorry," she said, placing her hand on his forehead. "But you're the one we've been looking for, and now you'll have to make a choice." The world exploded into light and sensation, and Marcus Wright's life as he knew it came to an end. But something else, something far more extraordinary, was about to begin. Marcus's world exploded into fragments of light and sound. Every nerve ending fired at once, sending cascades of sensation through his body. The clinic's familiar hum of medical equipment suddenly became a symphony of distinct frequencies. He could feel the electrical current flowing through the walls, taste the metallic tang of the security systems, sense the heartbeats of the armed men surrounding the building. "What did you do to me?" he gasped, steadying himself against the examination table. The metal felt alive under his fingers, vibrating with potential energy. Naira's luminescence had intensified, pulsing in rhythm with his heightened awareness. I gave you what they wanted to take from me, the seed of understanding, the power to bridge worlds. The clinic's lights flickered as heavy boots thundered through the corridors. Marcus could feel them approaching, 12 men, armed with weapons that hummed with an energy signature that made his teeth ache. "Dr. Wright," a commanding voice called out. "This is Colonel Pierce of the Extraterrestrial Containment Division. Exit the room with your hands visible. The alien entity you're harboring is a threat to national security." Naira's expression hardened. "They lie. They want the power for themselves, to weaponize it. That's why we chose to share it with healers instead of soldiers." Marcus's mind raced, processing information faster than he thought possible. The security feeds appeared in his mind without him accessing the monitors. He could somehow see through the cameras, feel the armed men's positions through their interference with the building's electrical field. He asked, even as he instinctively reached out with his new senses, feeling for weaknesses in their perimeter. "My people have been watching Earth for centuries, looking for humans with the right combination of compassion and capability. The power cannot be taken. It must be freely given to one who would use it to heal rather than harm." The door shuddered as something heavy slammed against it. Marcus felt the reinforced steel bend, its molecular structure straining. Without thinking, he raised his hand, and electricity arced between his fingers. "You know how to use it already," Naira observed, pride mixing with urgency in her voice. "Your instincts are strong, but we must leave. There are others like me like you now. A network of chosen ones working to prepare humanity for what's coming." "And what exactly is coming?" Marcus asked, but the door burst open before Naira could answer. Armed men in black tactical gear poured in, weapons raised. Colonel Pierce followed, a tall man with steel-gray hair and cold eyes. He held up a device that pulsed with sickly green energy. "Step away from the alien, Doctor," Pierce commanded. "The infection she's given you can be contained if we act quickly." Marcus felt the device's energy signature trying to dampen his new abilities. But rather than weaken him, the awareness of its mechanism gave him control over it. With a thought, he reversed its polarity. The device exploded in Pierce's hands, sending him staggering backward. The other soldiers raised their weapons, but Marcus was already moving. Electricity flowed from the walls into his body and out through his hands, shorting out their weapons and tactical systems. Naira grabbed his arm. "The roof, there are others waiting." Marcus nodded, understanding without words. He could feel the presence she spoke of, 3 more energy signatures like Naira's hovering above the clinic in what had to be a cloaked vehicle. "This isn't over, Doctor," Pierce snarled as Marcus and Naira backed toward the emergency stairwell. "You have no idea what you're getting involved in." "Actually," Marcus replied, feeling power surge through him as he accessed the clinic's main electrical grid, "I think I'm finally beginning to understand." With a gesture, he overloaded every circuit in the building. As darkness fell and emergency systems blared, he and Naira raced up the stairs. Marcus's body moved with newfound strength and precision, each step calculated and perfect. They burst onto the roof into driving rain. Lightning split the sky, and Marcus felt it calling to him, raw power waiting to be shaped. Above, the air shimmered as a sleek craft decloaked. "Ready to meet the others?" Naira asked as a beam of light engulfed them. Marcus looked back at his clinic, at his old life dissolving behind him. He thought of his oath to help others, to heal. Perhaps this was where that oath had been leading him all along. "Ready," he said, and stepped into his new destiny. The ship's interior hummed with the same living energy Marcus now felt coursing through his body. 3 figures stood waiting, 2 human and 1 alien like Naira. The alien's luminescence pulsed in greeting, while the humans watched him with knowing smiles. "Welcome to the sanctuary," said one of the humans, a woman with silver-streaked black hair and eyes that crackled with contained power. "I'm Dr. Renata Santos, former quantum physicist. This is James Chen, ex-military medic, and our friend here is Kiro. The alien, Kiro, inclined his head. Your transition is remarkable. Already your energy signature harmonizes with the ship's systems. Marcus felt the truth of it. Every surface, every circuit, sang to him in frequencies he could now perceive and manipulate. How many of us are there? 37 activated humans worldwide, James answered, his stance casual but his eyes alert as he monitored screens showing their escape route. Working with 13 guides like Naira and Kiro, we're scattered, hidden, but connected through what we call the resonance. As if triggered by the word, Marcus felt something unfold in his mind, a sense of distant presences, other consciousness touching his own. Each one glowed with the same energy he now carried, forming a vast, invisible network. The resonance links all of us, Renata explained. It's how we coordinate, how we stay ahead of the ECD and other agencies trying to capture our guides or prevent more activations. The ship banked smoothly, heading east. Through the viewscreen, Marcus watched the lights of New Shanghai fade behind them. Naira mentioned preparing humanity for something. What exactly are we preparing for? The others exchanged glances. Kiro stepped forward, his luminescence dimming to a serious glow. A choice, one that will determine humanity's place in the galactic community, but before we explain further, there is something you need to see. The ship's interior lights shifted, and a holographic display sprang to life in the center of the cabin. Marcus saw images of stars, planetary systems, and what looked like massive structures floating in space. 3 months ago, Naira said, our long-range sensors detected an approaching fleet. The collective and alliance of advanced civilizations has finally turned its attention to Earth. They come to judge whether humanity is ready for elevation or requires management. Management? Marcus asked, though he could guess the answer. Quarantine, James said grimly. They'll establish orbital control platforms, restrict our technological development, limit our expansion beyond Earth, all in the name of protecting the galaxy from what they see as a potentially destructive species. Renata's eyes flashed with controlled anger. They don't understand us. They see our conflicts, our divisions, but miss our potential. That's why the guides chose to share their gift with healers, teachers, those who serve others. We're proving that humanity can transcend its limitations without losing its soul. The ship's screens suddenly flashed red. James cursed, his hands flying over the controls. ECD interceptors coming in fast, they're not giving up. Marcus felt the pursuing craft through the resonance, 5 vessels, their engines pushing hard. On instinct, he reached out with his new senses, touching their electrical systems. Their targeting computers are linked if we can disrupt the lead ship's guidance. Do it, Naira urged. Trust your instincts. Marcus closed his eyes, extending his awareness. The pursuing ships blazed in his mind like digital constellations. He found the primary targeting node and, with surgical precision, sent a pulse of energy through it. The lead interceptor's systems flickered and died. It veered off course, forcing the others to scatter. Their formation broken, the pursuers fell behind as the sanctuary accelerated into the cloud cover. Impressive, Kiro noted. You've achieved in minutes what takes most weeks to master. I've had practice working with delicate systems, Marcus said. 20 years of microsurgery translates well to energy manipulation, apparently. That's why we choose carefully, Naira explained. Your skills, your experiences, they shape how the power manifests. Every activated human brings unique capabilities to our network. The ship leveled out, flying low over dark waters. According to the navigation display, they were heading toward a point in the East China Sea. Marcus felt other presences growing stronger through the resonance, more activated humans and guides gathering ahead. The collective's advance fleet will reach Earth in 6 weeks, Renata said. We're gathering everyone for the final phase of preparation. The choice humanity faces isn't just about technological readiness. It's about proving we can wield advanced power responsibly. Marcus thought of Pierce and the ECD, of how quickly they'd resorted to violence. And if we fail to prove it? Then everything changes, Naira said softly. For everyone. The ship began to descend toward what appeared to be empty ocean. But through his enhanced senses, Marcus detected a massive structure below the waves, humming with familiar energy. A hidden base, he realized, shielded from conventional detection. As they approached, Marcus felt the weight of his new reality settling in. He'd started the night as a simple doctor and now found himself part of humanity's secret vanguard, racing against time to prove their species worthy of the stars. "Ready to meet the rest of the family?" James asked with a slight smile. Marcus straightened, feeling the power flowing through him, the resonance connecting him to others like himself across the globe. "Ready," he said. "Let's save the world." The underwater base was a marvel of alien engineering merged with human ingenuity. Massive energy conduits pulsed beneath translucent walls, powering shields that held back the ocean's crushing pressure. Through the resonance, Marcus felt dozens of enhanced humans and guides working in harmony, preparing for the collective's arrival. But their peace was about to be shattered. "Multiple surface vessels approaching," James announced from the monitoring station. "ECD signatures, they're deploying depth charges." Marcus joined him at the controls, extending his senses upward. "Pierce," he growled. "He's leading them. They must have tracked our energy signature." The first explosions rocked the facility. The shields held, but Marcus felt the strain through his connection to the base's systems. More worrying was the pattern of the attacks. They weren't random. "They're testing the shield frequencies," Renata observed. "Someone's feeding them information." A new presence touched Marcus's mind through the resonance, sharp, discordant, wrong. His eyes widened. "We have a traitor." Before he could say more, emergency alerts blared throughout the base. Multiple hull breaches, security systems failing. What should have been impossible was happening. The ECD had found a way in. "Protect the core," Kiro shouted as armed troops began pouring through the breaches. "If they reach the central chamber, everything we've worked for is lost." Marcus felt Naira's hand on his shoulder. "Remember your training. You're not just fighting for us now, you're fighting for humanity's future." The battle that followed was unlike anything in human military history. Enhanced humans wielded electromagnetic forces like extensions of their bodies, while guides manipulated energy fields to create barriers and weapons of pure light. The ECD troops responded with specialized weapons designed to disrupt their powers, forcing them to constantly adapt. Colonel Pierce led from the front, wearing a powered armor suit that seemed to absorb their energy attacks. "Stand down, Dr. Wright," he called out as they clashed in a corridor. "You've been deceived. The guides aren't here to help us, they're preparing Earth for invasion." "You're wrong," Marcus replied, redirecting a power conduit to send a surge through Pierce's suit. "They chose healers, teachers, builders. If they wanted war, they would have chosen soldiers." "Wake up," Pierce snarled, his suit compensating for the attack. "Why prepare in secret? Why hide? The collective isn't coming to judge us, they're coming to conquer us, and these guides are their advanced scouts." For a fraction of a second, doubt crept into Marcus's mind. It was enough. Pierce's next shot caught him in the shoulder, sending him spinning. The colonel pressed his advantage, closing in for the kill. Then Marcus felt it, a presence in the resonance, familiar yet strange. The traitor moving toward the core, and with sudden clarity he understood. "You're right about one thing," he told Pierce, gathering energy for one massive burst. "There are infiltrators, but not among the guides." With everything he had, Marcus unleashed an electromagnetic pulse that finally overloaded Pierce's suit. As the colonel fell, Marcus was already running toward the core, following the discordant signal that shouldn't exist. He arrived to find Dr. Santos, no, something wearing Renata's face, interfacing with the core's controls. Its resonance signature was a twisted parody of the true connection Marcus shared with the others. "You're not from the collective at all," Marcus said, pieces falling into place. "You're from something else, something that wants to make sure humanity fails the test." The creature wearing Renata's face smiled, its features beginning to shift. "Clever healer, but too late. The core is already overloading. When it detonates, the ECD will blame the guides, and humanity's chance at elevation will die in fire and fear." Marcus raised his hands, energy crackling between them. "I'm a doctor," he said. "I heal things, even things that aren't supposed to be healed." The final battle for humanity's future was about to begin. The core chamber erupted in brilliant light as Marcus engaged the infiltrator. Energy crackled between them, reality itself seeming to warp under the strain. The creature's true form began to show through its disguise, something ancient and cold, a being of crystalline malevolence. "Your species is a disease," it hissed, hurling lances of dark energy that Marcus barely deflected. "The collective's judgment approaches, and we will ensure you fail." Marcus gathered power from the base's systems, letting it flow through him. "You fear us," he realized. "Not what we are, but what we could become." The fight intensified, the chamber filling with coruscating energies as the core continued its countdown to overload. Through the resonance, Marcus felt the others battling above, holding off the ECD while evacuating the base. He was alone here at the turning point of human history. Then he felt Naira's presence touch his mind. Not just her, all of them, guides and activated humans alike, lending him their strength through the resonance. And with that strength came understanding. "You fear us because we adapt," Marcus said, stepping forward through the infiltrator's attacks. "Because we take the impossible and make it possible. Because we fall and rise again stronger." The creature snarled, its form fully revealed now, a crystalline entity crackling with dark power. "You are children playing with forces beyond your comprehension." "No," Marcus replied calmly. "We're healers learning to cure the universe's deepest wounds, teachers sharing knowledge across the stars, builders creating bridges between worlds. That's what the guides saw in us, what you tried to destroy." Drawing on the combined power of the resonance network, Marcus reached out, not to attack, but to heal. The creature fought back, but its dark energy couldn't withstand the pure force of combined human compassion and determination. "This is humanity's gift," Marcus said as the entity began to fracture. "Not just adapting, but helping others adapt. Not just surviving, but helping others thrive." With a final surge of power, the crystalline being shattered. Marcus immediately turned to the overloading core, hands outstretched. Instead of trying to contain its power, he guided it, shaped it, transformed it. The explosion that should have destroyed the base became something else, a pulse of pure energy that rippled outward through the ocean, harmless yet visible to all who could sense it. A beacon. Hours later, Marcus stood with Naira and the others on a beach, watching the sunrise. The ECD had withdrawn after Pierce witnessed the infiltrator's true form. Humanity's secret guardians had proven themselves. "The collective's ships enter the solar system tomorrow," Naira said. "Are you ready to help present humanity's case?" Marcus looked at his hands, feeling the power that now flowed naturally through him. He thought of all the healing he could do, all the bridges he could help build between worlds. "The infiltrators were right about one thing," he said. "We are adapting, becoming something new, but not something to fear, something to hope for." He felt the resonance pulse with agreement from enhanced humans across the globe. They were ready. Ready to prove that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in weapons or warfare, but in its capacity for growth, for compassion, for transformation. The real test wasn't about power, Marcus realized. It was about how we would use it, and we chose to heal. The sun rose higher, its light catching the subtle luminescence of the guides among them. Humanity's first step into a larger universe wouldn't be marked by conquest or submission, but by a doctor's choice to help a stranger in the rain. "Well then," Marcus said, smiling at his newfound family, "let's go make history." Above them, the morning stars faded as Earth's evaluation approached. But they weren't facing it alone. They were facing it together, as healers, as teachers, as builders of bridges between worlds. The future was waiting, and humanity was finally ready to embrace it.